I got into Fall Guys this year. Big time.
It's one of the most surprising developments from you that I've ever
We're already talking about video games.
That's good. That's fine.
Can you believe it? But I don't know what it was. I saw Fall Guys from the outside.
We always streamed it on Discord.
Yeah, and I didn't get it. I thought it looked dumb. I thought it looked like Among Us. I thought it looked like Fortnite. I called it Fortnite for a while. And, gosh, my brain moves too quickly. I've started to realize why old people call things the wrong thing. I think because they think they're making a point and it's funny. That all this shit looks the same. You ever thought about that? Or are they just confused? Or is it like their idea of a joke and when you're a kid you don't get it?
I'm not going to do the non-committal, like, middle school answer and say a little bit of both. I'm going to say they're just stupid.
all the old people, including my 30-year-old ass, are just fucking stupid.
30 years.
I'm a senior.
And you're playing Fall Guys?
My family and friends don't get it.
I said when I turn 30, I'm cutting that off.
Oh!
No more video games for me.
But I don't know.
Really.
I don't like new things. You know this? It's a part of my advanced onset aging. And Fall Guys just look like a bunch of those other dumb free-to-play games. Mm-hmm. And I'm a very superficial person, so I can't get past looks. And I don't know what happened. What came over me one night, I was just like desperate. I need to bond with them over this stuff. I can't just keep watching them. I suck at Halo and I get upset and yell, so I won't play with them because I'm a bastard who refuses to get any better. And I loaded up Fall Guys in secret. I put myself offline. Although you can't put yourself online on the Epic launcher, I discovered. It's a fucking shit show.
It's a terrible service.
It is.
Even after all this time, so I have the Epic launcher because of, like, Rocket League's on there. Mm-hmm. And in all the games, and even on the Epic Store, it shows like a profile picture outline where you're like, it looks like you're supposed to upload a photo.
Yeah.
For as long as that service
like
has existed, you still cannot change the photo. And that's the only service Rocket League is on right now. So no one has a profile photo in that game.
Yeah. It's just
the letter. The funny thing about Rocket League is they give you personal, like, borders.
At least you have it there.
No, they give you personal borders around, like, the profile image.
Oh.
And so you just have this, like, empty, like, Facebook default thing with, like, a fancy border. It's just ridiculous.
But speaking of Epic Games, lo and behold, I discovered underneath the bullshit looks of Fall Guys, there's a good game here. There's a pretty fucking good party game. I don't like calling them party games. But, yeah, I discovered I fucking like Fall Guys a lot. And I get very angry about it sometimes, but not in a way that makes me quit like Halo does these days. Sorry, there's people yelling outside. It's a violent city. There's corpses strewn in the street.
Well, one of the more, like, it's like I said, it was one of the more surprising developments of your game career because...
My career?
It's just one of those games that I can never see you playing. That and whatever reason that you still accept Life is Strange is still a mystery to me because it's just so... not your thing.
If you really want to get into Life is Strange.
Not really, but...
Well, now I have to.
Okay.
I don't know. My teenage years were not what I wanted, really. And they present a sort of, like, not mystified, but, like, exaggerated drama that I feel like part of me may have wanted that wasn't realistic at all. So, I don't know. It just reminds me of being young. And that's something I've been grappling with for the last few years.
Even, like, past all, like, the weird acting and, like, interesting. Okay.
And I don't know, there was a rock chick, and there was a chick that was bad at social stuff. And, I don't know, it just weirdly spoke to me. And I hate games like that, usually. Like, decision-based text choices and, like, branching silly paths.
See, I could just, like, see you watching a trailer of that and be like, no.
I don't know what happened. I think it just takes a few things to get me into a game, and somehow those lined up for me. And yes, I have officially become 30.
That's wild.
I am become 30, destroyer of youth.
Of the 20s.
Destroyer of the 20s, yes. And so, I don't know, it's been a weird year for me. I felt like I've been looking down the barrel the whole year.
So now that you're actually 30, do you feel like your next thing is like, oh, I just don't want to be 40? Or are you still kind of like sad that you're 30 at all? Or how are you feeling?
Everybody I talk to about it is like, 30's a hard one. 20 doesn't mean anything. You're excited for your 20s. And then they say 40 was nothing. But they said 30.
That's scary.
They said 30 sucked.
That's scary that 40's nothing. Because I feel like 30 to 40 is like... 30s, you're still a young adult, kind of.
Yeah.
40 is like... I don't know. You're kind of getting there.
I think 30 is just sobering for so many people, myself included. Because it's like, damn, I have to start actually making choices if I haven't up to this point.
Right.
Because it's just a very stark reminder. You ain't, Y apostrophe A-I-N apostrophe T. That might be the title. You're not super young anymore. You're young by comparison to all the people who are like, oh, you're still so young. I'm 67 years old.
Right.
I'm 52. What are you talking about? I'd make a deal with the devil if I could go back. And so, I don't know. At first, I was very depressed for the first few days.
I understand that. I mean, since turning on my 23rd birthday, I was like, I don't like birthdays anymore. I just don't want to get older. Like, if I could just be like permanently 22, 24-ish.
If I could find a magical genie that I could rub. And the lamp, not the genie. You're rubbing Robin Williams'
rub his
genie.
belly.
Oh, But
audio podcast.
So I don't know.
Just what do I need to know? I got 2.
How do I prepare you?
I got 2 years and 3 months left. I'm 27.
I'm only like a week into this, so I'm still getting my footing
You're
here.
a greenhorn.
Yeah.
You're a tenderfoot.
I'll tell you something that has helped me in a weird way. And when we normally do these, we don't do podcasts like we used to because everybody's stretched out across the country, and it's not the same over like a Zoom call. I wish the Giant Bomb guys could hear that, but we'll get into that later.
Well, these things kind of have to happen in person because I feel like we're meeting up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do keep up over like Discord and stuff, but like when we're actually together, it's just a different kind of. I know
that
overused.
Is that
it is a different energy in the room.
It's that. But something that, like I said, has helped me, and I owe it to Daniel. I was aware of Joe Pera Helps You Sleep.
Oh.
I saw the animated version of that episode of the show, and one night out of the blue, Daniel was just like, let's watch an episode of a very specific episode 3 seasons into the show. And you were down over Discord to do that, and I discovered a 30-year-old man who behaves like a 75-year-old man.
Right, yeah.
And
that was like his Twitter profile is like, some people say I remind them of their grandfather or something like that.
And so, I don't know, but I felt like I turned to my friends for coping for this, and they didn't do nothing for me. I turned to my coworkers, they didn't do nothing for me. And
when you say your friends, you mean your 30-plus-year-old friends or me, Daniel?
You, Daniel, everyone.
I don't know what to tell you.
Exactly, but I mean, all I would get is, oh, you're still young. It's like, I don't care. You can say that all you want. I don't feel young anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
And I don't know what it was.
It's like when something horrible happens and someone says, it's going to be okay. Well, not in that moment.
Not now.
I don't feel like it right
Help
now.
me.
Yeah.
But somehow watching Joe Pera and binging through that show like a fucking addict, it made me look at life a little differently, about appreciating smaller things, and just his demeanor and presentation was just so calming to me, and it was just so weird that was the one thing that got me out of my rut.
It's interesting that a younger person acting old will make you feel better than an older person
Yes.
acting young.
Yes. And so I never saw it coming. I never knew that would be the thing. This weird Adult Swim show that I'd heard of but didn't know anything about, and probably never would have watched if Daniel hadn't come along
Right.
and just said, "Let's watch this." Sure. Well, that probably he hadn't thought about it. It came to his mind. Let's kill some time and watch this silly stuff. But that has been the one thing that has hoisted me out.
That's good.
Weirdly enough, of my post 30th birthday depression.
So you're 30 years and what, 5 days old?
Something like that.
Yeah.
December. November 27th. That's the day that will live in infamy. 2022. In the year of our Lord. But I don't know. I've been teasing to all of you on the Discord chat here and there in personal calls. I was also feeling old because I've got some health business going on. Nothing serious, but just
Stuff that just is unavoidable as you kind of... Well, okay, not unavoidable, but things that aren't as easily...
things you wouldn't see coming.
That and things that aren't as easily, like, remedied when you're a little bit older.
Yeah, I've just lived as unhealthy as possible for a long time, and lo and behold, it just dropped on me one day, and I didn't do anything about it, and put it off, thinking, this is nothing, it'll just get better.
Yep.
I don't have cancer or anything. I just have a bunch of really weird, highly specific, non-lethal problems that fuck up my quality of life and make me feel a lot older. And all the keys for change are in my hand.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just have to take them.
That's a positive thing.
And so basically, I just put everything off until 30 and was like, I'm going to get my act together and just fucking quit acting like a dumbass in college.
It is a sobering thing when you find out something, I don't want to say the word wrong with you, but just an issue that crops up, and you do have the power to like actually fix it if you just stay the course, you know? Or rather, change tracks and, you know, have tunnel vision to correct it. Like, you know, 3 or 4 years ago, I had that horrible autoimmune thing where, like, just randomly, and I don't have hair loss, like, at all, but just randomly, just a whole patch on the side of my head and in the back of my head just started falling out, and I just, it made me totally rethink, like, my life choices. Like, I don't really eat fast food anymore unless it's just, like, a late night.
Or I'm around.
Or you're around, yeah. So hopefully that doesn't crop up again.
No!
But, you know, it's just one of those things where I started making just smarter choices and not eating, like, Whataburger every night. Like, but all of my meals cannot be fast food. And that it just totally fixed everything.
That's one of the things I have to deal with. Because I have numerous vitamin deficiencies that supplements can't help. Actual food and dietary choices have to be made. I can't take the easy way out. And sleep problems, muscle problems, just a bunch of bullshit. So, I don't know. All this was just looming on me, and 30 hit, and I don't know. I reached my breaking point with myself. And I said that this trip up to, can I reveal your location?
Of course. A new one. It's a brand new one.
Chris, ever the globe-trotting freak, as I look now, decided, hey, look, they're going to pay me much more. Let me move. Let me move up to Chicago.
Yeah.
And I had no reason to ever see Chicago. I'm not like Chris, who was just like, I want to see the world. I want to be cultured. I want to break out of the shell and comfort of my mediocre life. And so I'm so happy I have him as a reason to take this journey to this, as you described it, it's like another country, or it's like another part of the world.
So the thing about here that I really feel like, so it was like 2 or 3 nights in after getting here, I just like I walked from my apartment. It's a very walkable city. Mm-hmm. It feels very safe when you're out. You know, it's different everywhere. Every city has its problems and whatever. Everyone is aware of the narratives that news pushes. But I just remember walking like to a restaurant. It was that place we went to tonight. I walked to that restaurant. Yes! I sat outside and ate, and I was just like, this is just how things should be. It should not be me getting in a car, having to go get gas because I'm low on that, sitting in traffic at a red light or something, and then going in through a drive-through. Like, that is not what I want. I want to be able to just kind of like live like as a human and not as someone that is just constantly in their car. And that is just such a nice change of pace for me. I've really enjoyed it here. It's been a great city.
Well, and it's also...
And I'm glad you're getting to see it. It's a much different part of the country.
That lifestyle was also... I mean, you had that in Houston.
Not to this extent.
You almost never drove. You always took the train, it seemed like.
Oh, no. The train is not convenient there.
Oh.
No.
You were singing its praises when I came there, left and right.
It works.
But not like this train.
No.
This is far more integrated and thought out.
Yeah, it's expansive. I mean, we went all over the city today without ever getting in a car.
Well, hell, I was in Atlanta in October, and I was further reminded
This is what we were talking about.
The fucked up nature of different large cities.
This is what we were talking about when you were in Atlanta. You were saying, like, it's such a big city, but even just getting, like, a mile down the street takes 30 minutes.
It's a misery. We wanted to go to, like, a sit-down restaurant and just eat dinner before a concert, and I was like, oh, this is going to take forever.
Yeah.
And so we ended up trying to a fucking Chick-fil-A, and it took, like, almost an hour. It was just,
right.
It was fucking bullshit.
And this is what I love about this place, especially, is like we were talking earlier. We walked 8.5 miles today effortlessly.
Felt great.
Like you didn't even know. Like we
Love
weren't
it.
trying to get exercise or anything. We were just out getting food, exploring, just kind of showing you around. And I don't know. It's a great quality of life. I feel like I'm much more active, which makes me sleep better. It makes me just feel better mentally. So yeah, it's been a nice change. And I'm glad you're getting to see a different part of the country. Because I know, I asked you specifically what's the furthest north you've been. You said Memphis.
Easily.
Which is so deep south
still get brutally cold.
I know.
Maybe not like this dry, fucked up cold.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and like, in middle school, we went to Memphis on some fucking school trip. I don't know if it was good to like...
To the Bass Pro?
No, yeah, that's why. And it's educational...
What's that
private school experience.
Daniel said it's like the third or fourth largest pyramid in the world. Like behind the
It is. It is. That's right.
So ridiculous.
But that city was weird, man. Everything was so compact, and like everything was dirty, and it was bad. And I think it was to see like the Elvis Museum.
For that, for sure.
I think they took us to the Elvis Pink House or whatever the fuck it's called.
Graceland.
Graceland.
Yeah.
Because we were studying like music for like the silly band class I was in, but. That's the trip everybody watched Jarhead in the middle of the night because somehow they booked us a hotel that was playing Jarhead.
That's a weird
And so like a bunch of children were watching this dude jack off in front of a mirror to a photo, and it was just the buzz. Everybody freaked out.
A Memphis field trip is an interesting thing for people to have to do.
I mean, it was cool. It was snowing. It was December, and we all had a blast. Went on a bus.
Hey.
But
you didn't take a trip to D.C.?
I don't want to go to D.C.
No, I mean like when you were in high school.
No. What was that, for speech and debate?
No, I feel like every person I know went on a field trip to D.C.
My sister was on speech and debate forever, and they were going everywhere. They were going like Wake
I knew
Forest
people like that,
and
yeah.
fucking Boston. She went to fucking I can't remember where in California one year, and it's just like, what the fuck
People
is
in my
this?
high school that were on the forensics and debate team or whatever were like all over, like Vegas, I think was where the finals
Holy
were.
shit! Imagine going to Vegas for school.
When you're a senior in high school, man, imagine being the teacher on that field trip. Whew.
I feel like if you go to that city, it's just like, good luck, kids.
That's a city I don't want to say never want to visit, but yeah.
But what has surprised you about Chicago? Because you've only been here a little under 5 months. What are your biggest revelations?
I think my biggest revelation is just, well, I kind of expected it, but it's just the ease to move about in the city without ever feeling like uncomfortable. Like I could literally walk from here to downtown and be totally fine. Mm-hmm. It would take a while, but I wouldn't be like looking over my shoulder anywhere, you know. It's just a much more pedestrian friendly place.
Except for looking around to make sure nobody's trying to get up behind you to pass you.
That's been a theme.
It's weird. It's like I'm in the fucking I'm constantly in the left lane, passing lane, and I'm like looking over my shoulders, like 40 people are hauling ass. And I asked you if they were like this all the time, and I think you said no. It's just because of this fucking weather.
Yeah, people are trying to get inside. So tell me about your first impressions, though. You've been here for about a day now, so.
I did not have this is another world thing.
Okay.
Like, it is obviously very different than Houston. Houston was besides Atlanta, but you can't really count Atlanta as big ass city. It's not a proper city experience. There's grid unit parts of it that feel like a big part,
but they're very
city.
They're almost like little neighborhoods.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a bunch of interconnected islands of dense population area.
People say they're nodes.
So
in the city.
You know, I had that. I had Dallas. I had Houston, and I feel like this is not a radical departure from those. Everything's smoother. If everything feels much smoother. This is not. I don't mean to sound like an ass. Significantly less homeless people.
It's true. I told you about that, and you didn't believe me.
Well, I'm sure there's parts, but it's not like in Houston where you're just stumbling over them downtown everywhere. And the other thing, the fucking cleanliness thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you see a butt here or two and a bottle every now and then, but it's like, compare that to any other city this size and the similar structure. It's just a fucking rat's nest.
That's a common theme. Like if you go to like a subreddit, like the Chicago subreddit, people say like, "I just visited the city for the first time. I can't believe how clean it is." That's kind of like a common thing.
And I keep up with every major news station, because I like to have a balanced opinion of politics, at least in a mainstream sense. And Fox News is, of course, every day. New York, Chicago, L.A., everyone's dead. Murder City, Chirac. And so I just was like, I know this is... See, the other networks won't talk about any of this stuff. I mean, they'll cover it if there's something big.
Right.
But just... My whole life growing up, my parents had Fox News on. And it was just Chicago, death, death, death. And getting here, and obviously I'm getting a snapshot. God, you may see some horror as soon as I leave. But it could not be more the polar opposite. This is what
I was really happy that we rode the train today, because you got to kind of see my daily thing.
Dude.
And this is how it is every day.
It was great.
It's how it is every day for me. This, yeah, we had one person rambling to themselves, but I mean, that's going to happen. And also, it wasn't a threat. You know what I mean?
And it was a fun time.
Yeah, it was.
The fucking bell from a train or whatever dinged, and they went, ow, ow, ow. They were singing. And it was great.
Open up that prankster.
Yeah.
Which we found.
We've rediscovered Prankster. Wasn't I talking about Prankster right before you moved?
I think we had discussed it, yeah.
Man, it's just a beer. It's sponsor, Prankster, North Coast Brewing is our official sponsor for this Christmas cast. Thanks so much, North Coast. I like some of your other beers, but they're really hard to find.
Well, you pour your prank, I'm open to mine.
Oh, good. It's getting a little live in the kitchen kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a great beer. And that's my beer of the millennium.
Good.
And get out of here, St. Bernardo. Nobody cares about you no more.
Oh, don't, as I pour this into a St. Bernardus glass.
Chris found one of those great samplers with the chalice.
Such a steal.
And
these chalices
they're hard
they're
to come by.
$30 too. See, by themselves.
You can order them online, but it is a 75% chance that shit's gonna be broke. Yep. Even in all the packaging, it gonna be broke. Sorry, got carried away with myself.
Are you finished with your thoughts
about Chicago?
Yeah.
I have to admit, I'm not impressed by any waterworks.
Well, you haven't seen it.
You took me down there
at night
when everything's light and beautiful, and you see the northern lights.
Actually, if you go a little bit north, there was a phenomenon where they were really far south this year, and if you went a few 30, 45 minutes north, you could see them. But not normally, I don't think.
I will say this. I used to tell myself, I want to live somewhere where it's fucking cold all the time. No, I don't.
Really?
Yeah. Because the whole rigmarole of my face is cold and burning, the backs of my ears hurt because I don't have a woolen cap. I can do with a little bit of that, but having to take off all the layers when you get back to a warm place, I think over time that would really bother me.
Okay. I just hope you stay on the same page as me, and we both agree that cold weather makes everything more memorable.
It does.
Good. And
it does.
Just I feel better in it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We're on the same page.
I like it around the holidays.
Sure.
And in the southeast, it could be fucking 80 degrees. It could be 32 degrees on Christmas Eve and 80 on Christmas Day.
I know. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's a cool city.
Hey.
And it seems like endless possibilities, people, connections,
yeah,
restaurants. It's fucking great. It's almost a utopia with my little snapshot.
Well, I mean, I'm just super happy.
And the weed is legal, so that's fucking true. Sick as hell.
Man, ordering that to pick up is so ridiculous.
You kept saying it was like an Apple store. I get it, but it was cool.
It was cool. But I'm really thrilled. I've been looking forward to you coming here doing this podcast because I really enjoy sharing like my day-to-day kind of routine, and because this is such a new place for me too. Because it's such a new place for me, it's just like so fun to show like my closest friends like this completely new environment for me because we're kind of like learning.
You get a chance with 3 separate people in a short time span.
It's awesome. I'm having.
You got one coming up like as soon as I leave, practically.
Yeah.
Is that still working? Is that gonna happen?
We'll see.
Oh, let's hope. It is so funny. Did you have something else to go into?
No, that's really it.
That is so funny. I want you to do Chris story time, and I'm going to do Jay story time too. I literally want you to tell me your daily routine. It's fucking in here. Hold on. Like, how do you start your average work day? It's fucking in here.
You want me to do like the romanticized version where everything goes correctly, or like?
Give a realistic. It can have romantic tinges.
Realistically, I'd say most days out of the week, I wake up on time, which is about 7:50-ish. I work 9 to 5. I work downtown. So I wake up, I take a shower, I get nice lathered up, wash it down, swirl it around. And then, depending on how I'm feeling, I'm either going to take the bus or walk to the train stop, which is the one that we...
I haven't had the bus experience yet.
It's a bus.
Oh.
Depending on the weather, too. If it's super cold, I'm not going to walk for 15 minutes. But I'll take the bus to the train stop, and I get on a train that's usually not overcrowded, which is a very nice surprise. In the mornings, it's not crowded. I take that train, the one that we took today. I take that down a few stops. I get off, walk about 7 minutes to the office, get greeted by people my age, which is such a nice change.
They look like you, too. It's weird.
They all wear hoodies and shorts.
White shoes.
And then usually around 2:30, once the day starts to get a little long in the tooth, I'll head over to 7-Eleven, which I know is something foreign to you.
That's right.
And I'll get a disappointing sandwich.
Okay.
I'll sit in the park and get my hands getting numb this time. Take a swig, go back in 30 minutes, coast out the rest of the 2 hours.
What you taking a swig of? Essentia?
Oh, you know.
Yeah, Chris, it's the best.
It is incredible. It's just the best drinking water. I'll finish up around 5, and then I'll do the same thing in reverse. Come back, and I disrobe.
Oh my. Got sexy in here, guys. Is that all?
That's really about it.
But then you get on Discord and you talk to the boys.
This is not my average work day. Well, I guess
you've been making exceptions lately, and I applaud you because you're a bigger man than me in that regard.
What do you mean?
If I work, it's kind of a struggle for me to socialize afterward.
Oh, I like to stretch my legs after work.
Okay. Put them up, read a book, light a candle, smoke a blunt.
Well, I'm not into that. It's legal though.
Yeah, that's what's driving me crazy about you. You have such a get here that you could. Well, I shouldn't say improve your life. It's a drug. It's a drug, and it can be abused. But man, there are so many people that would nearly die to have the ability to just walk into a store and buy overpriced weed.
It is pretty incredible.
I mean, literally walking down the street, just guy yesterday just smoking a big old doink.
Like that happened. You were like, so what time are we going?
Originally it was going to be Sunday. I'm glad you let me push the schedule forward.
Yeah, of course.
But I've said too much.
We got big plans tomorrow. We're going to the top of a building.
Yes! And my mother, unfortunately, wants us to take photographs of each other in frame.
One of the... Oh, no.
Yeah. I told her, we don't like taking photos of ourselves.
We're going to have to ask someone.
Go to the Big Bean.
I can't believe you never heard of the Bean.
I've never heard of the Big Bean, unless it's Sean Bean. He's my Big Bean.
Did you send your mom the photograph of the liquor in the CVS?
Oh, I forgot to.
She's going to love it.
I mean, it's crazy. Why is there mind-altering substances everywhere, and things are not? It is not just maelstrom and missiles raining down from the skies, and just crackheads with fucking needles in their arms. What governing force is allowing this to keep work? This is like some bizarre social experiment that went right.
That is, yeah, that
doesn't make sense.
Exactly. That's what's.
Even the pigeons are affluent here.
Well, they started fighting a little bit.
They're picking on those little finches and eating apple cores.
Well, tell me about your average day, though.
Well, that's part of my...
I know yours is going to be a little more exciting. I work in an office environment.
The work aspect is, but everything outside of that is far less interesting than you.
Well, I mean, to put it plainly, I work in an office environment at a startup company with 5 people. You work at a grocery store. So
it's a failing grocery chain.
Going to be a much different...
Well, I mean, everybody knows I've detailed my kind of stuff. I'm over talking about my job. It never changes. But I don't know.
That's the thing with, like, when you tell us stuff. To any other person, this happened to them, it's life-changing. But to you, it's just another day. It's amazing.
I told you the story. This will be my only work story. And how about I include it with my day in the life? Mm-hmm. Which is a paperwork program we have, literally called the Day in the Life. It's a far sadder, less optimistic life than yours, I'll be honest. But it is one of luxury. That's the funniest thing about my life. I have so much outside of work, and I'm just a miserable fuck. And live like a sad bastard. And that's what I'm hoping to change in my 30s here. So I have a weird thing where I am endlessly connected to, as you know, trying to reach back to my childhood, to feel what it felt like when I was a kid. You know, the certain, you have memories. Everyone has memories of when they were a kid, of a day where it was just, nothing really special happened.
But
it stuck with you forever, and it was the most magical experience ever. I remember one year, it's probably like, I don't know, 2005, my sister had just come home from rehab and was basically grounded and had been taken out of school, which she finished. And I don't know what it was. I made a mix CD of heavy metal music that she had got me into and some that I found that she also liked. And we got in the it was a 97 Ford Taurus maroon vehicle, hideous wood paneling. And we just drove to McDonald's, just like a mile away from the house. I remember every fucking detail of it, and it was the most special thing ever. I remember the fucking combo I got. I remember how much it cost. Why? And so I'm always trying, that would lead me to, in my life, try to almost reenact those moments with her. I did that recently. I was like, let's go to the Taco Bell on Beep Road and get the same thing we got. And you do it, and it's like, it ain't there. But I keep trying to relive it. Yeah. So here's a little detail.
I mean, that's the whole essence of nostalgia, right? You're trying to reach back and get wasn't.
It is an empty, pointless pursuit in most cases. It will never work, and so I'm trying to make these new experiences, and it's harder when you're older.
Sure.
I mean, you'll have a great time. You'll go see a friend, have a blast, and it's like, damn, that whole weekend where we did all this shit wasn't as good as that one time we drank Yingling Light
at the lake
in a bush by a lake,
right,
and broke back into the house.
I think about that night all the time.
It's crazy how the mind works.
I think about that night all the time.
But the mind is just different after youth and whatnot. So I'm trying to, my New Year's resolution is to stop trying to live in the past.
Sure.
But my day in the life just has something to do with it. It's hard, the tangents. My parents watched, I promise you, I'm not a conservative. I'm not a right-winger. I'm not a Fox News head. But, big B word, a capital B even, make it like an 84 sized font, and then the UT is 12 point. I wake up at 12:45 p.m. I scream into my pillow. I turn on the CRT, which has the satellite cable box hooked up to it. I put on Fox News.
You do that on your own.
Yep. And I walk out of the room, and I start taking my shower. And that's because there were summers when I was a child where I'd get up really early to watch cartoons. And when the cartoons were over with, I'd go for a nap on the couch. And Dad would come in the room with his coffee and put on Fox News. And I had...
Tucker Carlson was doing Inception on you.
I had lucid... Well, he's not on at around that time.
Sorry.
He would have... I would have lucid dreams of Fox News.
That's basically what I was trying to
so
imply.
I integrate that into my schedule as background noise as I'm showering and doing my hair and rolling the lint off my slacks. And it's just... It gives me this low buzz of like... It's the beginning of the day.
Oh.
Racist right-wing people are speaking on the television. Shout-outs to Fox. And I get in my car, and I typically put on, a a calming Jeff Gerstmann podcast.
Okay.
He's been emancipated from Giant Bomb. We'll talk about it
what
later.
Giant Bomb became.
Yes.
We have to clarify.
And I have a 30-minute drive where sometimes I'm so upset about work, I just sit in silence and stare forward, and I'm just there.
Highway hypnosis, how you just kind of show up where you need to be.
It's crazy. When we first moved out there, it was like, it felt like 4 or 5 hours getting out there. Now it's just, I crank the engine, oh shit, I'm at work.
And you wish it was longer now.
Yes. And then I suffer through my work, and let me give you an example day. You know most of the story. I think the whole pit knows. That's our Discord freak group. No, they're all good guys. They're not freaks, except for me. Actually, Jesus can be kind of a freak sometimes, but I love him for it. So there's only work story I'll tell. There had to be one.
Sure.
There had to be one.
Well, we need to say it's a Christmas cast. We got to get it all off our chest.
I got to vent. I got to exhaust my duct. That was weird.
That's a good title.
That was weird. Exhaust my duct. Vent my duct. How about that? My duct. My asshole or my mouth. Who knows? Diarrhea.
My duct. It sounds like you're doing like a Pimp My Ride thing.
So, okay, snapshot, middle of the day. Been a run-of-the-mill day. Around Thanksgiving. It's post-Thanksgiving, so it's not crazy anymore.
Right. So this was like, 2 days ago?
It was like the 29th?
All right, we had an early Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we did. I love when it falls on my birthday. It almost never happens. And I get called up front. And we have this little nebbishy customer service associate. And he comes up to me, rubbing his hands nervously together. Jay, we need you up front. The PA system doesn't work because we have a bad fuse. And so I go up front. I'm like, what? What is it? What could be happening? What is it now? Who stole? What is it? Did someone have a seizure? Is someone fighting? What?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
And he's like, there's a man outside, and he's in his car, and they say he's dead.
Oh, God.
And I'm just like, Christ, I'm having a good day. I was having a fucking good day. That's what I have to worry about. Whenever I have a good day or I'm in a good mood, something fucked up's going to happen. And I go outside, and there's just a group gathered around this fucking Honda Civic. And there's a fucking skinny, crackhead-looking white dude. He's got one leg hanging out of the fucking driver's side. The door's just open. He's got one leg hanging out of it. And he's slumped over towards the passenger seat, unresponsive. And I'm like, I got a fucking dead guy. I'm going to do my fucking first death accident report. It's a separate file.
Oh, my God.
I've never had to touch it. So I go up to the guy, and there's this other old black guy. He follows me up. Yeah, he ain't moving. I'm like, well, what have you called 911? And he says, no. What? And I was just like, what do you mean? And this other older, like, lady comes up to me.
You're giving me heartburn.
And she's like, oh, I called 911. And I just walked over to the guy and grabbed him by the shoulder in the car. Hey, buddy! Unresponsive. And this young guy comes up behind me. Hey, touch his leg. See if he's still warm. And I was like, I looked down. He's got a pirate skull on his leg, and I put my finger on it. And he's still warm. The pirate was radiating heat.
Good.
And, I look, and he's got shallow breaths, but he's got drool coming out of his mouth.
Good Christ.
And everybody's, like, yelling at him, hey! And
why did this have to happen in that parking lot?
And it was in the handicap spot, too, the first one.
Well.
And so the paramedics finally get there. They do the same thing we were all doing to him. There's somebody, like, filming for fucking, like, Snapchat. And they drag him out of the car, lay him out flat on the ground on his back. They put two tubes up his nostrils, and they stick an IV in his arm, and they administer Narcan, and he wakes up. I have never seen a grown man cry like that. Just yelling.
That man saw God.
Yes. Well, waking up from like a drug overdose, especially opioids, I can only imagine what it feels like. And he's screaming and crying and bawling and saying, "Can I get a cigarette?" And calling for Mama. The fucking first responder goes, "Mama ain't coming." That was what scared me about that is I just know that's probably not the first time that guy's had to say that. And the guy even said, "This is not my first rodeo," to me.
Wait, the overdose guy?
No. Probably not. It's funny, the first responder that said that said, "I'm sure you know what Narcan is by this point." Yeah. But it's amazing.
Narcan's the opioid thing, right?
Yeah.
Like fentanyl and stuff like that?
Yes, it pulls you out of it if you are in basically near-death coma.
Right.
And, I mean, this dude was just crazy. And, you know, I was so close to seeing somebody die.
Yeah.
This guy they even said he was turning blue. I mean, there's no telling what kind of brain damage this may have given this man. But long story short, he was quote-unquote okay, I guess. They got him out of here alive.
Right.
And when I called the regional asset protection manager, he just kept saying, you just let me know if he lives or if he dies.
It feels like any landing you walk away from kind of thing.
Yes. And so, I don't know. I just had that moment. It was on my birthday.
Oh, Christ.
It was on the 27th, actually. I just remembered that.
I vaguely remember you being like, happy birthday to me.
It was on my 30th birthday.
You
it just came to me.
a dead man.
I just saw a very dramatic experience, and what scared me was I felt nothing about it.
Yeah.
The job has done this to me.
I mean, I'm not speaking for you, but there's no way a job like that and the stuff you go through cannot possibly not make you jaded. Like you have to be at this point. You have to have that layer of.
Well, that's what scared me.
Right.
I've been through so many fucked up experiences. This was one of the most fucked up. I mean, it was a positive one because the guy made it out.
Yeah.
He didn't die. But at no point did I feel any emotion in the whole situation.
It was more just like, God, can we get this over with?
No,
so
it was just, God, I have to go do all this paperwork.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I have to fucking fill out an accident report where everything just says unknown, 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 didn't die, left premises, still alive. So then I get off from work and I go through Taco Bell.
Okay.
I do this every Sunday. I get... You fucking Taco Bell shamed me.
I did not.
I said... I get the fucking beefy
Do not
5-layer...
slap your knee at me.
I got the beefy 5-layer burrito. I got the chicken quesadilla. I got the fucking medium Pepsi. It's $11.63.
All right, I said it wasn't enough.
And you said that's a weak haul.
I know it wasn't. You should have gotten one more item.
I'm not trying to get sick. I just saw an overdose.
Right, okay. Reward
Wanted
yourself.
some Taco Bell. I made it through. And I go home and I have a bunch of White Claws. And I watch a movie on tape. And I listen to a podcast. And I go to bed and I repeat. And that's what I'm trying to change.
You know what the funny thing about this story is you're telling me is
What?
that the way you reminisce about this overdose that you witnessed is almost like one of those memorable
I would not use the word reminisce.
memorable days that you're going to try to
Recall with just utter horror and disgust at the state of the world and fentanyl, undoubtedly related to this fun experience. They say they're even putting it on the weed these days.
Fentanyl?
Yeah. It's cheap. It's cheap. You can get some fucking mid-grade weed that you got like a fucking quarter of for $10. You spray a little bit on that bitch and suddenly, oh, that shit fire. That shit good. This shit's good. I don't know.
Good thing you got it legally.
Yep, there you go. Now we're going to go to our ad break. Everyone, this week you need to check out Prankster Golden Ale, one of the finest beverages ever to grace the face of the earth. The ad read has concluded.
Are we taking a break? Is this what you're doing or what?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, break's over. Playtime's over.
Yes, it is. Or is it? Speaking of Fox News,
Oh, great.
I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Would you have a beer with Beto O'Rourke?
I don't really want to talk to him.
You don't want to associate? You wouldn't want to be seen in public.
No, I just wouldn't want to talk to him.
You're sounding more like a right-winger every day, my dude.
What are you talking about?
I don't want to be seen with Beto O'Rourke.
I didn't say that. I just had nothing to say to him.
Surely you could talk about his sick skate footy. Come on.
Oh,
Come on.
I could.
You guys have an even thread you can talk about.
Right. You know, I'd probably make a proposition and say, that camera you got, it's not got a fisheye lens. Watch this. I'd show it to him. I'd show him like a portfolio.
Let me show you where you fucked up.
Where
Well-
the videographer fucked up.
I got another hard question.
Oh.
What GOP figures would you have a beer with? I'll throw my vote out for Mitt Romney. I'd have a beer with that fucking guy. He probably wouldn't want to drink it, but...
I'm going to say Rudy, and hear me out.
Whoa.
Hear me out. This is a trick answer.
Now we're fucking talking.
This is a fun answer to your weird question. Imagine, I take him to a really hot bar. He's sitting there.
Like temperature or popular?
Well, a little bit of both. But I want to focus on the temperature.
Okay.
And he's got something I bought him. He's doing this. It's not playing on an audio podcast, but he's doing this. You know, he's talking to me. He's espousing his ideas. It's hot in there. Think about that, okay? The shoe polish.
Oh my God! It'll get in the beer.
He's taking a drink.
You're gonna poison him.
I'm not poisoning him.
He's poisoning himself.
Poisoning himself.
That could be a title.
He takes a swig and he goes,
drops dead.
And the thing is, I bought him a dark beer, so it goes, and it spreads throughout. Think about like a really like high quality 4K red camera in there.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Takes a swig. He looks like the guy in the parking lot.
God damn you. You've doxed me. All our fans are going to show up and commit accidents.
I'll edit that one.
You're going to have people trying to get slips and falls. Ambulance chasers.
Ambulance chasers?
Ambulance.
Oh.
Ambulance. Okay, sorry, my lips got tied up.
So what do you think?
Well, the problem is, and there's a big hole in your scenario.
I didn't do it. That's the genius
But you're that's like saying...
I just took him to a hot bar.
That's like saying if I fucking switched the soles out of this old woman's shoes and poured a bucket of water on the ground and had her walk towards a fucking thing of tapioca on a string and she slipped in the water, it wasn't my fault.
No.
She chose to go over there.
No. No. I constructed the Rube Goldberg machine purely out of my own, like...
Demented criminal mind?
No.
You're going to be on an episode of Criminal Mind.
It's a psyop on Rudy. All I did was take him to
let me get back to the big hole.
All I did was take him to a bar that had a little bit higher temperature than the others and bought him a dark beer.
Let me get back to Rudy's big hole.
He said he wanted to look nice and put the in his
Here's
head.
Rudy's big hole.
All right.
He, like Ted Cruz, has embraced the gray and the white. He always embraced the white. But he has a big white beard now.
I really...
Well, I'm trying to think of any others since I'm going to give serious answers. I don't know. Honestly, I'd have a beer with Bush. Junior. W.
Junior!
Little Bushy Junior. That's one of Bush's paintings. This is the son I wish I had. Instead of Jeb. Wait, no, that wasn't his son. That was his brother. I would have a beer. I'd have a glass of wine with Jeb.
Oh.
I'd have a little dainty Shiraz with fucking Jeb and let him vent about Trump tormenting him and how he still haunts his nightmares.
Oh, I can't imagine being that poor sad man.
I seriously feel sorry for and have always liked the disposition of Jeb Bush. I may not agree with the fact that he wants most women not to have a choice.
Sure.
And everything else that's fucked up, but he seems like a sad clown.
Oh, yeah.
And a sad clown is always a good time to drink with.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Unless
Unless they're just bitching. I don't know.
You know he's going to be really, like, self-deprecating, which is going to...
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a fun time.
I gotta think of at least one more. I gotta think of a trio.
Sure, okay.
So I've got Mitt Romney, Jeb Bush, W is another Bush. They stack. They don't count.
Stacked bushes.
I would have a beer with disgraced, punished Bill O'Reilly.
Punished Bill O'Reilly is like a Metal
Have
Gear
you seen
character.
him? That's what I'm saying.
Not lately.
Hold on. Let me look up.
Imagine like the horn growing out of his head.
I was already there. They just put makeup over it. Okay, I'm looking up Bill. Not Bill.
Bill and O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly. It came right up because I already searched it.
I know. I haven't seen this man.
You know what he looks like younger, right?
Yeah, of course. Oh, God. Oh, wow. He looks bad.
His head is shrunken. He looks like a pencil head now. Dude looks fucked up. Like, this is not just I got old. This is I failed.
Yeah.
I was destroyed. I was a sex pest.
That's a lot of stress marks.
Everyone knows I was a sex pest. That's a great title.
No, it's not. No.
But Bill is just an outrageous, horrible person, and I think if I got him a little alcohol, he would further disgrace himself. My plan is better than yours.
I don't think so.
No! You're just contingent on a hair dye that doesn't exist. You're talking like he's putting fucking shoe polish in his hair like Cotton Hill.
You're saying like I have a plan.
What am I?
Like a Joker.
Do I look like a guy that's got like a plan?
I'm not doing this. Stop.
You got some Joker brain up in here.
All I'm doing is buying him a dark beer and
just
getting him in a hot bar.
I'm just a dog chasing cars.
Except I know what I would do if I got my hands on Rudy. I'd give him a dark beer.
Okay, you saved yourself there. We just shook. Because the Joker would not know what he'd do if he got his own. I'd go insane. I'm already insane. Well, okay, can we talk about the...
I'd go insane.
I'd go insane again. Can we talk about the mini Jokers? The Jorkers?
Sure.
My collections of Jorkers.
Take it away.
What's so funny about the Jorker? I don't know if I can call him the Joker. I think Jorker is almost like a break-off thing.
The thing about the Joker at this point is, like, at least the way we treat him.
We treat his legacy.
There's like 7 years of jokes built on these. It's just like this understood thing, so I don't really know how to explain it.
Discord is amazing, and I'm glad you finally came to the light side of the Force and joined Nitro.
That was not the last. I'm paying money for a fucking messaging service.
The fact that I can upload a sticker of a vomiting dog that I can use at any point in any server across all of Discord if I'm allowed in. And I can have a private collection of Jorkers. It's like I have a stable of Jokers. And I can use them at any time. I can let them out one by one. You only have 2 Jokers in that chat.
Yeah, but they're good ones.
I have fucking 9 Jokers. Wait, that's only 6 Jokers. Well, I did delete a few that weren't up to snuff.
Okay, well
I put them out in the pasture. I shot them behind the shed.
Give him a dark beer. That's a euphemism.
I gave him a dark beer. That could be a podcast title. I don't know. I just on Discord. I can't get enough Jokers. I love Jokers. There's a Joker for every occasion. Jesus fucking Christ! There's so many this one.
The thumbnail's gonna be all the different Jokers.
Like I've got the best Joker. I've got the Let's Go Joker.
That's the best.
Where he's pumping his fist in the fucking Joker mobile.
Oh. That's just a Dodge Charger.
I've got the Joker that's just leaning over ha. I've got that does not play on audio. I've got Joker leaning in and grinning. I've got Joker got a grenade splatter, but his hair's coming down, but he's still happy about it and smiling. We used that one today. I've got reserved sad Joker. I've got laughing Joker, easiest one.
That's a cheap
one. I don't have, out of respect, any Heath Ledger Jokers. I leave that to gang alcohol. Good. That's their gig.
Stay that way.
I don't get into dramatic Jokers. I can't. That's a property that doesn't appeal to my brand. So I don't have any Joaquin Phoenix Jokers. It's just not something. It's just not something more. I'm creating a Joker over here right now. I should get my phone out.
Oh, yeah, snap a pic.
Joaquin, your Joker is not worth it.
No.
It's too serious a Joker. You're going to be in a fucking musical with Lady Goo soon. I'm going to let this one breathe because I think Chris is about to die. I knew as soon as I brought up the Jokers, Chris was going to go over the line.
The funniest thing about this is underneath all the layers of irony, the Joker's making me laugh.
That was the real Joker laughing. Sorry, Chris has got to get up and take a lap. Oh, he's crying. God. See, this is what happens when you bring up dramatic Jokers. People start crying. Woo! Okay, I'm going to stop. I got to stop. I'm going to kill my friend.
Came all this way, poured me a dark beer.
Hold on.
I'll cut that out and insert the actual.
Okay, thank
sound
you.
clip.
All right, we got to move on from Jokers because I think years are coming off of your life with this Joker talk.
Oh Christ.
Okay.
What else are we gonna talk about? Jesus.
God, there's just I'm getting into what's called the cleanup zone.
Okay.
Because our podcast, especially the in-person ones, I'm not gonna say devolved. Chris is just he's just calming down. Like he just fucking had a good jog. Well, a destructive job. Sorry, I got Joker brain. I got Joker's brain. I watched. Okay, so I want to make a good point. I make it my case that I'm a miserable fuck, and I'm sad, and I watch I have Fox News on while I take a shower.
That is sad.
And yes, it is. But as much as I'm old, and I turned 30 in 2022, it's been very bittersweet for me because goddamn, I got to see my two favorite bands in the same year. One of which never got to see. I got to fucking play some of the best games I've ever played.
Okay, yeah.
And I've watched more television
Sorry,
in 1
the
year.
Joker got me.
Sorry, a little Joker extract still coming out.
Right.
I have watched more TV shows than ever. I've seen so much TV. And a lot of this is not new TV. It's new seasons of TV, so I won't get into those much. But I'd like to list off a few shows
Sure.
that I've watched and a few games that I've played because, goddamn, I hardly saw any movies this year. But, where do we start with Dark?
Dude.
I wanted to start
man.
strong.
It's been so long since we've seen it, too.
I've had a lot of time to ruminate. I think one of the first things I said was, I probably did the old thing I do where it's like, I've never felt this color of television before. This is like a new color.
Right.
Where I've never seen anything like this, whether it's from the mood, the direction, the cinematography, the score, the misery of the characters, the frightening ideas that it presents about time travel, and God, you go for a bit because I'll just gush. I will just gush about this shit.
I don't even know where to start with Dark, but that's one of those shows that I know it does reveal a lot of the secrets.
And just so you know, me and Chris watched this together all through.
All online also.
3 seasons over Discord.
Dark, I don't want to summarize the plot or anything.
No.
Basically, just to kind of if I were giving an elevator pitch, I would say it's a show that really it banks on the curiosity of the mystery. There are so many red herrings that they do get revealed towards the end.
Yeah,
but man, they are so strong when
they're so juicy.
When they present those, your mind is racing.
They do a lot of the classic TV trick of you've got a very character-driven episode and you're aching for, let me just unwind the puzzle box just a little bit, and they give you that little taste at the end of a lot of episodes. It's just
that's one of the only shows that I've ever actually thought about getting a notepad and drawing relationships.
Getting like a serial killer board, connecting all these dots. That's in the show.
If I rewatch that show, which I probably will at some point,
absolutely.
I'm going to take notes that have a board laid out of who interacts with who and what their relation is.
Yeah.
It is so complex. It's said in multiple times with multiple versions of the same character.
And some characters become other characters because of the actions of a character. And some are doomed to travel time forever.
The thing about it is it does it very neatly.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't get too messy. It really toes the line with that. Where you are simultaneously overwhelmed by all the actions that are happening, but you are invested because the characters are so good. And they're so strong.
I think that show moves, as good as it was the whole way through, it went a long way from its first season.
Yeah.
Because a lot of whenever I pitch Dark to someone or I talk to somebody who watched a season of Dark, they're like, it just kind of seemed like Stranger Things. Because there's a missing kid and he's in a yellow coat, like it. There's a missing kid and it's it's boring.
And it's not in English.
Yeah, that show moved so far beyond its
Yeah.
origin and went in such a far direction that I've never seen I don't think I've ever seen a TV show as wild
Yeah.
as that.
I've never had a TV show like introduce to me like this conceptual mental torture that they enact on this one character by the name of Ulrich, who goes back in time at one point and gets arrested in like the 60s. Mm-hmm. And then he's
looking for his son.
Right, and then he is found to be still in that prison like 40 years later.
Yep. It's the gravity of that show and the repercussions of people's actions are of such a scale that is simultaneously emotionally stunning, conceptually, like, cerebrally. It is one of the best shows I have seen in the 21st century.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without question. And it all wraps up in 3 seasons.
Yeah.
The same cannot be said of some of the greatest series of all time that just went on and on for so many seasons. So if you haven't seen Dark, go out and watch fucking Dark.
Man.
And watch it in German and don't be a pussy and put it on that bullshit dubbed shit. It's horrible. And the performances of the fucking German actors are so good. And you're just fucking yourself up by watching it in an English dub. I try not to dwell on shows that we've talked about for years just because they have another season.
Sure.
But Better Call Saul came around.
Man.
And it had the best season
Yeah.
of its entire run. And quite possibly the most beautifully graceful,
Subtle.
but just... I've never seen a show... God, talk about a fucking show like this after dark.
Yeah, right.
That just... It was like watching a performer at the peak of its career give the most beautiful dance of their entire run, and then it's over. I have never seen a television show go out more on top.
It was so confident the whole way through.
Like the fucking episodes and whatever, spoilers, show's been out for fucking half my life, it feels like. In the future.
Yeah.
The heist, I don't even know where to start. I've never seen a more confident season of a television series. Even Breaking Bad.
You could tell the whole team knew what they were doing was good, and they just executed perfectly.
And I think so much of it was Breaking Bad was like a test run. Obviously, Vince Gilligan worked on a lot of shows before Breaking Bad. There's a lot of silly shit in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
There's some silly shit in Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
But from start to finish, the final season of Better Call Saul was a masterwork.
Yeah.
Every scene, every character.
The thing about, like, the silly shit thing, that's in every show. Mm-hmm. But what's important is where the ceiling is and where the floor is, too. And that's where, like, Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad really, like, the floor is still so high in all those shows, or both those shows.
You know, you mentioned Breaking Bad. I think overall it was a better show, but it had more problems. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was flashier.
Yep.
It had higher peaks, but I think that show peaked in its 4th season.
Yep.
And the 5th season was a masterwork.
Yeah.
But it was not as good as the peak of the 4th season.
Yeah.
And for Better Call Saul to literally get better every single season, I've never seen a show do that. Not like it did.
Yeah.
And I think that the finale of Better Call Saul, as much as I liked the Breaking Bad finale, and it was kind of silly how it wrapped up, I thought it was good. I thought the ending of Better Call Saul was perfect.
Yep.
Without question. And it went out, like you said, with class.
Mm-hmm.
So,
bravo. It's one of those endings where you kind of have to take a deep breath and be like, that was it. That was good.
Yeah.
And you're not supposed to go, whoa.
I mean, I have not, like I say about Dark. Dark was a masterwork, but it's not always fun.
Oh,
it's a hard show to watch. It's unpleasant for most of its run.
Yeah.
This show, Better Call Saul, final season, I had like the best time of almost any show I've ever watched.
Okay.
It was just so fun and perfect, even when it was sad, and even when it was dramatic. I had so much fun. It was a ride. And, yeah, that's my Better Call Saul talk. I just had to bring that up. It's so good.
It is good.
Just so good. Now, another show that ended this year, it feels like a lot further ago. You want to talk about how not to end a show? Ozark.
Oh my god, it's been a long year, huh?
It has been a very long year. Remember Elden Ring? Ozark, gosh, I'll let you lead on Ozark.
Ozark was a surprising show to me, for the most part. Apart from the blue filter, which is absurd, I was surprisingly drawn into those characters and the whole storyline, and I felt at times it had the confidence and execution and shock value that some of the best parts of Breaking Bad did.
It was Breaking Bad, post Breaking Bad.
It was.
You could tell.
It was definitely
easily.
Absolutely, it was inspired by it and took a lot of notes from it.
Yep.
Overall, overall, I still really like the show. I think it went
was a
out
great
with
show.
a whimper, but it had the intrigue and the stressful double agenda that Breaking Bad did.
Yes.
Which I hadn't felt quite the same since
Exactly.
Breaking Bad. So I was really into it, but
why do you think they made that choice at the end?
the ending, I feel like they... So I don't know the story about the ending. Did they cancel it, or was this their natural conclusion? That
It
they
was the
were
last
building
season.
Towards?
Here's the thing about Netflix. Even Netflix's
They're
most,
so quick to pull the plug.
even their most successful shows,
Yeah.
they pull the plug.
Absolutely.
They were given an extra season. And they were given the split treatment that Breaking Bad started of a final season. They had all the time in the world. I don't know how they got to that ending.
I don't either.
If the main character was just shot in the head
Right.
by his wife, it would have been a better ending. This ending was so out of left field.
It felt obligatory, too.
I get where it came from, but I can't remember the channel. I watched this video where someone said it was a great ending. It made sense. It was what they wrought. It was, this is what you've done. That's why it's a great ending. This is what you've done to your children. Your actions have created this.
The point.
But the problem in it was none of it was earned.
Right.
The conclusion it reached, there's no meat in the middle. It's like a sandwich with two buns.
This is what I mean when I say it felt obligatory.
Or just one.
And when you said it makes sense in a way, you see what they were going for. Yeah, I see what they were going for in the sense that they felt like they probably just had to kill characters because it was the finale. That's how I felt.
But I think they thought they were saying something.
Yeah.
About the nature of violence and the decisions of careless parents.
Sure. Yeah.
But there's just, you have to earn it. You can't just arrive at this and say, oh, look, we're saying something. It has to make sense. And what that character's decision does not make sense. It happened in the span of 2 episodes.
It felt like the creators going, see?
We're going to distract you that this was not supposed to be here. But it is. Look, it's crazy. So, I think it's a great show.
It is.
But
overall, yeah, it is.
Even great shows have huge problems sticking the landing at the end. Sopranos.
Yes.
But
Well,
I forget
and
the
multiple other
Sopranos.
parts, but
I forget the Sopranos because it was a better show. It was a classier show. I mean, really, a lot of Ozark was just violence porn to get its point through.
I think
shock you.
You make a great point about it being a post Breaking Bad show. That is exactly to a T what it is.
Yeah.
It was definitely trying to fill in those same shoes.
I mean, I like those characters.
I do too.
I think they were great characters.
Yeah.
Almost all of them.
That's what makes me most disappointed about it, though.
And, Mel, the detective, was one of the best additions to the end of that show ever. And to see his character be served that dish, it's stymieing.
Yeah.
There's so many things that leave a bad taste in my mouth. And The Sopranos, it just stopped. I don't have an issue with that. I can say it at worst, well, that's stupid. That was kind of dumb. But it's not a complicated dumb.
No.
They just said it just stopped. I don't know. I've tried not to dwell on Ozark, but I enjoyed it so much I just have issues
Sure, yeah.
with how it resolved. But, speaking of other enigmas, have we figured out what's going on with Barry? What is Barry?
Oh,
Why are we watching
man,
Barry?
it's been a long year.
It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
I feel like it's a decent... It's not... Well,
I feel like it's a total clusterfuck.
I'd go above decent. I'd say it's a very enjoyable show, but the main reason I'm watching it is just an excuse to, like, talk shit.
It's like
with
because...
you know?
No, I think it's because everybody says it's so good.
Really?
Everybody's just like, man, Barry. I couldn't believe how good
That's true.
Barry was. I'm like, this show can't figure out what its identity is.
That's true.
At all. And it's almost never bad. It's just... I feel like they're just figuring it out as they go.
Yeah.
And when you come from shows like Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, Ozark, where it feels like there's a narrative structure, it's just like... It's like they sat down each week for Barry.
At a wall, yeah.
What are we going to do? What's going to be crazy? Okay, we need a dramatic beat. Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, you have this scene, and then somebody just blows up, and there's like a long shootout, and somebody says a joke, and Honk comes in, and he does something crazy. It's like, can we figure this out?
I don't think I've spent as much time as you trying to think about it. Really, I mean, I enjoy watching Barry, but most of the enjoyment is just the excuse to get online and talk about a show.
Yeah, and that was the vehicle. And, everybody's like, Bill Hader. Man. One of the greats. I'm like, he's good.
Yeah, he's good.
He's good, but it's not some...
And I don't think I'm missing anything.
It's not some James Gandolfini.
I don't think we're missing anything.
Yeah.
Like...
I mean, I want to finish it.
We're finishing it, yeah.
But we got into the third season, and it's been like 6 months.
We got to the third season. I thought we watched the third season.
So, I mean, I'll say that. I was going to be brief about Barry.
Yeah.
Barry, it's fine. I just don't get why so many people are head over heels about it.
Yeah.
Andor.
That's the surprise of the year for me.
Biggest surprise of the year, without question. Andor was a very narrative show.
Yeah.
That was a long story. Even though it centers on a main character, I don't think... Diego Luna is great.
Yeah.
He's great in everything I've ever seen him in. But the main character of that show was a story.
Yeah.
And it peaked at the Prison Break episode. I won't go into details, but I couldn't believe a Star Wars show could be totally this mature.
This is what I was going to say about Andor specifically is like, I feel like every once in a while we are promised like, oh, this is going to be the mature Star Wars. Mm-hmm. This is going to be the gritty thing. This is going to be, the story-based thing that gets the older crowd involved. And so many times that solution that they come up with is more violent. Not necessarily in Star Wars, but in other properties.
I know what you mean.
But this had, this respected the viewers in the way that it wanted you to have patience. It demanded that of you. Because there are a lot of slow parts to it. There's a lot of build-up. But tonally, like, I'm just so glad to see someone treat Star Wars with a different, like, just paint it with a different brush. Yeah. Like, I'm so jaded by we talk about it all the time, the Marvelification of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The obligatory...
Quips.
The quips and the he's standing right behind me kind of thing. This show had so many opportunities to go that route, and it just never did. Because it knew what it was doing. And I really enjoyed the tone of it because it was so similar. I thought so many times this feels like the Blade Runner sequel.
That's a movie I saw this year.
We talked about it on the last cast, but
I didn't think about it or forgot about it.
But Andor, of all the shows with all the different characters that we could have gotten, and Rogue One is probably my favorite of the new Star Wars movies, but Andor is, relatively speaking, in the grand scheme of Star Wars, a very minor character. And for them to give this treatment and this budget and this creative direction to Andor, as opposed to any of the other shows, it's so surprising. I enjoyed it so much.
Me too. It's, like I told you, I don't think I had the most fun with it of all the Star Wars TV shows, but I think it's the best.
I'm with
I think
you,
objectively, easily the best. And the fact that...
That's a show you could recommend to someone who does not like Star Wars.
Or knows nothing about Star Wars. They don't have to.
It is contained.
And they'd see these things around the edges and be like, what is that? Mm-hmm. There's not enough of that. I want more of that.
Yeah.
Honestly, that might be how you can get somebody into Star Wars that's never seen it before.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's well worth watching just to see a certain actor scream, "Attack!" Twice. And both times, earned and beautiful.
That was awesome.
I
enjoyed that so
thoroughly
much.
enjoyed watching that show with you.
And we had no expectations at all.
Anyway, fucking Book of Boba Fett was fucking horrible. Let's talk about one more horrible show.
Severance.
Man,
Wait, no. I love it.
you fucked it up. Anyway, Book of Boba Fett was fucking horrible. Anyway, let's talk about another horrible show. We watched House of the Dragon. Anyway, let's talk about another show. We watched Severance. That was a great show.
You know, you mentioned earlier, I think it was earlier today, you said, I watched like so many shows this year. I don't think I realized how many shows I watched. And Severance, man, that's at the top. That's
Where did you even start with that show? We talked about so much good TV. This is getting hard. We're getting exhausted talking about good TV.
In the realm of like experimental, you kind of have to see it to understand. This is kind of in the same realm as Dark. But tonally much different. Yeah, I don't know where to start with that.
My dad did the whole thing because I thought he'd find it interesting. I watched the first episode and he was like, toward the middle of it, it's gonna be one of these shows. I was like,
One of what?
one of these shows.
A thinker.
He doesn't like shows that are A,
Confrontational.
confrontational,
Right.
B, require just the smallest modicum of thought. If it doesn't have a fucking person in a hat with a gun,
You're describing Yellowstone.
also Breaking Bad.
Yeah, and a hat with a gun, yeah.
But yeah, man, Severance. I gotta keep it brief because we're getting long in the tooth.
What can you say about it without summarizing it? I mean,
What were the weak points? Nothing. I mean, we created entire memes about
our Bloodborne characters, for
our
God's sake.
bloodcorn acorns.
Bloodcorn.
Our bloodcorns. Another potential podcast title. I don't know. Severance is critically well reviewed. I think it's a little slept on.
Well, that's Apple TV's problem. It's not because of the show. It's because of the distributor.
Severance is fucking great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And John Turturro
Oh.
and Christopher Walken.
Oh.
I was telling Krista about this. Well, she already knew. The most compelling, unexpected, spoiler, romantic couple I have seen in a television series in years.
It's the only
Fucking
time where I
years.
actually was like rooting for them.
I was the most non-sexually excited about this romantic partnership. I was it blew my mind. It was great. Everyone in that show is fucking great.
Yeah.
Even the lesser players, fucking great. I mean, characters that are there for 3 episodes. Spoiler. Grainer.
Yeah.
Love the guy. Love the fucking guy. I loved everything about the show. I love the way it looks. I love the theme song. Great TV that you don't have to get horribly invested in and follow a complicated weaving
Right.
plot.
It's such a tight cast.
Yes,
I think,
and a
like,
story.
There are only a handful of characters that you actually need to follow.
Yeah. Here's what I'm worried about. What if
They
this,
get bigger.
What if this is one of those shows that's like, I was in it at the start and it was great, and the next season is fucking horrible.
Here's my fear with this show, because of where it left off, is it's the sequel curse. Bigger is not better. You need to improve on what you have. And I'm worried they're going to try to like connect a bunch of like, tendrils out
They
there.
brought on a big set of
that's-
cast additions.
That's my biggest concern. I saw that and I thought, oh no, I hope they nail it, but
Also worth noting, this is Ben Stiller's show.
yeah.
He's executive producing it. I'm just going to get into the mentioning phase of the TV shows. I watched all of Succession. Will Ferrell's new pet project.
Right.
I like that show a lot. I think I like it for all the wrong reasons.
Okay.
It's an
I'm interested.
expensive-ass show.
I fell off of it.
It's a great cast.
Yeah.
It's one of the best casts. Incredibly compelling, awesome characters. Huge, flashy budget, rich people walking around being rich and being gross. Great intro. All the hallmarks of a great HBO series. But it's the same shit over and over again. we're merging, we're acquisitioning. Oh, this person in the family doesn't like this person. And then this person fucks over this other person in the family. And then at the end of the season, I can't believe this person in the family betrayed the family. And he's going to go join this other business people. Every single season.
Okay, yeah.
All the way through is the same plot.
Sounds like what... It sounds like the Silicon Valley thing.
I never watched that show.
It was fine. But it was the same thing of like, everything's going good. Oh, this new thing fucks up our software.
To me...
It's just the same.
It's one of the most compelling one-trick ponies I've watched in a long time. It's awesome to look at, even though you pointed out the Office camera work to me.
Oh, the zoom in? Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I didn't even think about that. I feel stupid. And I was like, yeah, fucking video editors. It never bothered me. But it's a good show. It's a really good show.
It doesn't bother me. It's just a choice.
It just doesn't go anywhere new in 3 seasons. What you see is what you get, and that's fun. What's next in the mentioning column? I watched Rings of Power. That was bad. I'm almost all the way caught up with Justified. Justified?
Oh, I thought you finished it. Justified.
It's one of those best worst shows I've ever seen.
Okay.
And it got better. It got better. It started out like a dumpster heap.
I remember we watched that first episode after the ending of Deadwood because
we were both just looking at each other like, "What the fuck? Are you serious? All these cliches and basic ass decisions." It starts with a foundation of very basic shit. It groveled in it for a while, and it actually went some places. I wouldn't recommend it to you at all. But I would be remiss if I didn't at least say it matured and it became a show worth noting.
Okay.
For sure. And it's noted.
Take your word for
it. Speaking of Apple TV shows, I watched For All Mankind. I'm just going to repeat the thing I say for you. The show where the most things are happening with the highest stakes, but it is the most boring fucking thing I've ever seen. I watched Peacemaker.
Is that the John Cena thing?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I don't know why I watched Peacemaker. It's like the most hateable thing I could think to watch. He's really good in it.
This feels like a Fall Guys moment.
It is a Fall Guys moment. That was a stupid fucking show, but I was laughing and having a good time, and it was fucking... It was like watching MacGruber, but the superhero version. And I went in with negative 800 expectations and walked out with like a positive 20.
Okay.
So that was nice. And to round it all out, yeah, Yellowstone's going again. Speaking of trash, I came up with a phrase for it I've already mentioned to Chris, but have to mention to the you people. It's prestige soap opera garbage.
Right.
It's high budget.
Yeah, right. Throw a bunch of money at it with... Yeah.
It's got sweeping...
Take no risks.
It's dumb shit happens, and then there's a sweeping drone shot with orchestral music and people staring into the distance. And it's like, man, I've been talking about this show for years. Your fucking mom gave me some words the other day about it, and I wanted to talk to her, but I don't have anybody. I don't have an outlet.
Well, we have to clarify because it seems like every baby boomer parent loves this show, but my mom hates it.
My parents love it.
What did she say? She was like, it was terrible.
My parents love cowboy bullshit, and this is country-ass cowboy shit, but with a weirdly, like, mentally ill level of scope and, like, a cult mentality. Like there's cult-like shit in this show. It's just... It's trash.
It's the most popular show that nobody watches. Somehow.
Nobody
Nobody I know watches, yeah.
And also, bafflingly enough, as I mentioned, they've had one prequel, 1883, and now they're about to have a 1923 show led by Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren.
And also, like, the one that's like 6666 or something?
Yeah. the person behind the show is a guy named Taylor Sheridan.
It's like a Star Wars thing. We're just like, what are you doing? This is too much.
It's weird. It's the product of, like, staggering drunken success. And apparently 1883 was fine, but I'm not going to watch it because Tim McGraw and Faith Hill are the leads. Yeah, that makes me want to throw up on my mouth, too. But I hate to say this, I may have to fire up my Paramount Plus account because Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren as a leading, married couple set in 1923, that was the Depression era, right?
Yeah.
I gotta see that. And it's the Dutton family. It's weird. It's weird, dude. Speaking of
Harrison Ford, Helen Mirren, 50 years ago?
dude,
Damn!
Helen Mirren famously, everybody says, hottest old woman. Speaking of 18 shows, we started 1899.
Yeah.
This will be the last show I talk about.
Creators of Dark, important to note.
A couple. A married couple.
Oh, okay.
The showrunners.
Couple of what?
Couple of idiots. It's dark, but it's different, but it's still dark.
Seaworthy dark.
And it's slow, but it's good. And it's
slow, but it hasn't failed to capture
if you have nautical fetishes,
well, like me, yeah, right.
And weird out there psychological stuff, you know, I enjoyed my time a lot and had a lot of fun, and by the end of it I was applauding on my feet.
I've seen 2 episodes.
It's really good.
I will definitely finish it.
It's good. So it's been a good year for TV.
It has been.
It's been a good year for bad TV. But, you know, real quick, we just gotta spout out some games and then talk about some music. I played what? I'll let you lead for once. I've been leading.
Oh, good.
Tell me about some games real quick.
Do we want to do like a Game of the Year discussion, or are we gonna just?
This is it.
Okay. Well, Game of the Year is Elden Ring, right?
Oh, unquestionably.
I don't even know why.
I hate it.
Right.
It's gonna sweep every top 10 list except for the people that know it's number one and say Stray or whatever other indie game. Even though we know.
I think I know.
We
what you're
know.
talking about.
Yeah, we've talked about Elden Ring, right?
No. The last podcast we did was last Christmas.
Fuck.
I know.
Elden Ring is the best of Dark Souls open world, most content I've ever gotten in a video game, and it's all good.
Yes, that's the thing about it. It is so big, but it's so uniformly good the whole time.
And I was mentioning this to Chris earlier. What's Miyazaki?
Yeah,
Miyazaki.
You're on it. Yeah, you got it.
I'm being American. H. Miyazaki. Thank you. I'm being very American. Recently in an interview was like, I do not understand why Elden Ring is such a success.
I do.
Yeah, that's what I want to tell the dude. Yeah, you're the interviewer now. You could talk about Elden Ring for 40 podcasts or more. There's no sense getting into it. It's a universal good.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's unquestionably one of the greatest video games, I would say, of almost all time.
Absolutely. I would definitely go there.
I wouldn't put it in my top 10.
I would.
But I can say objectively, one of the greatest video games of all time.
The first playthrough of that game is the most fun I've had with a game since Red Dead 1, which came out in 2010.
That includes Bloodborne.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck.
Bloodborne, for me, took a lot of playthroughs to kind of settle in with. But this game, and also, when I was first starting Bloodborne, I wasn't into the Souls series the way I am now. But this game just... It continued on into the 80th hour of playtime where I was seeing something new and going, wow! I've never had a game do that.
It's the proverbial gift that keeps giving. This game, listen, you pay $60 for this game. This game is worth like $40,000.
It's worth the console.
It's worth
or whatever you want to play it on.
A fortune. Like if they put an actual worth price tag on it, you could spend 6 figures.
It's unreal.
That being said, I have burnt out on that game so much because I played it on 2 separate mediums and went to max achievements on both.
I did on
And
Steam.
the thought of playing it again turns my stomach a little bit, even though I say it's the best game I've played in ages.
When they release that DLC...
Oh, I'll be the first in line. I will preload that shit.
To get back into that world will be such a joy.
Speaking of FromSoft, I played Demon's Souls Remastered this year.
So that didn't do anything for you, really, did it? Did you beat it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the best thing I can say is, if I'm being aggressively positive, and I shouldn't have to be, I butted my head with that game.
Uh-huh.
Overall, I enjoyed it, but I don't ever want to play that game again.
Okay.
And I went out saying, it's a Souls game. Just like all the others, I'm going to platinum it. I don't. I'm good.
Well,
I'm good. I don't want it.
I don't know if the trophies in that remake are the same as the old ones, but if they are, that's a tough one.
I think they're similar.
It's also important to note that game is a total remake by a different developer, and it's not a Miyazaki pet project that he wanted to rebuild the game. You know,
it felt like what I played for the first 1/5 of it on PlayStation 3.
Yeah, for sure.
It just looked good.
It did. It looks amazing.
It looks really good. But
I'm a sucker for the original game. I know you didn't play
it was the right place, right time for you.
I bought that game the day it came out without any fanfare around it.
I had just played all the better versions of that game by the time I played it.
That's totally fair.
A fresh coat of paint and frame rate, it only goes so far.
I 100% agree.
I don't particularly care for that game.
But you see...
But I beat it.
But you can absolutely see how there is an amount of Souls that needs to be tempered a little bit. Because that is the most Souls you get.
It is. It is
the most opaque.
But all the world... I didn't realize just how much the world tendency stuff sucked until I started looking up 100% walkthroughs.
The red phantoms and stuff.
Horse shit. Yeah. It's bullshit. I'm sorry.
The more you die, the harder it gets, basically.
But I mean, I give it a brisk nod.
Yeah.
But I can tell you something as I close out, and you can list anything you played. Well, I got two more. I played the Modern Warfare 2 Remake campaign.
Okay. When's the last time you played a Call of Duty?
To completion?
Yeah.
Call of Duty 3.
2006.
Yep, it was. I think it was a launch title for 360, right?
No, Call of Duty 2 was.
Okay, so it was up there. I was blown away as a kid by Call of Duty 2. I never played anything like that.
I was blown away from the up until 4. Yeah.
And then I played 3, and I was like, "This shit is so high tech. This is the best ever." Then fatigue and my hatred of bro Call of Duty stuff multiplayer set in.
That's where I fell off.
And I stuck to Halo.
Yeah.
But fell off after 3. And
remember how I brought up the worst person you know Onion article?
Yes.
That's how it felt with Call of Duty. Once Modern Warfare 2 came out, it was like, worst person you know likes this game. I was like, I can't do it.
But, a few years ago... Okay, so the original Modern Warfare games were well reviewed. But that was during the period where I didn't have a console anymore, basically. And I got an Xbox One in 2015. I got a PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 4 in 2016 at your behest, and those games came and went, and
feels like they've been coming and going for a while.
Then I remember when the demo came out for Modern Warfare Remake 1, and Daniel was just like, "It's really good. I've been playing the multiplayer it's really good. The guns sound great. This combat is great," and that passed me by. And then the second one came out, and I was just like, you know what? I'm not over Call of Duty anymore. I think it's been long enough, and I've been jaded enough, and this has been a Madden of the shooter world for long enough.
That's a good way of putting it.
I'm gonna trade in a bunch of games, including the Quarry that got me $31 in GameStop store credit.
Unbelievable.
Fucking crazy.
Game's not worth the paper it's printed on.
I know. And I was like, I'm going to dabble in the multiplayer, which is exactly what I expected. It's tight. It's fine. Jeff Gerstmann's head over heels in love with it. But he also likes those kind of pulpy games. I don't know. Campaign was fine. It reminded me of playing those old games.
Okay.
I had a good time. It wasn't a good It wasn't a great campaign, but it was a fun campaign. And to round it out with a game that was great that I finally finished, that came out forever ago, but I didn't finish it until this year, Control.
Was that this year?
I think it is. Maybe I beat it.
You want me to check my last play date on there?
Stop. Maybe I beat it and played the DLC in January 2022.
I really don't remember.
Well, I may have played it last year, but I wanted to just bring that back up.
Awesome
Great
game.
fucking game.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cannot wait to see what's... They announced 2, right?
Yep, they did.
Fuck, that's great.
Yeah, I'm glad stuff like that is getting recognition. It's a new IP.
It is.
And it's
Rare.
interesting.
Rare. Did you have any games you wanted to mention?
I mean, Elden Ring is obviously the big one because we haven't talked about it since the last podcast.
Crazy.
But, I mean, what's left to say about it? Everyone knows about it. It's phenomenal. I played... So we talked about Yakuza Like a Dragon on the last one, which is the turn-based one. But since I played that, I wanted to dip my toes in the other games that came out before it. So I beat Yakuza 0.
Okay.
And I beat the remake of Yakuza 1.
Okay.
And now I'm playing the remake of Yakuza 2.
Better than ever, right here.
Which is just unbelievable.
I got to see some of the ragdoll physics of just fucking
It's so
destroying
fun.
humans.
It's so fun.
The drama and the pacing is so... It's like the best B-movie.
J-drama.
It's incredible.
It's awesome.
It's fucking awesome. I hope to watch more of that before I leave. For sure.
We'll probably throw that on a little bit if you're interested.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other game that really sticks out to me this year... Vampire Survivors. You've heard about it enough.
I still want to try it.
It's a great turn your mind.
Great
off.
idler almost.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great game. Turn your mind off. Put a podcast on. Kind of.
That's going to be on top 10s and top 5s for sure.
Be on mine for sure. I don't have like a typed out top 10 or anything.
Ugh, I'm too old for that.
Vampire Survivors is an awesome game.
Play Horizon.
No. A real surprise game for me. I know you've seen me playing it, but there's this German game called Dorf Romantic.
Oh yeah.
It's not a
What's
game.
the deal?
It's not a game you would like at all, but it is the most relaxing Zen-like experience.
It's like tiles that just fan out, right?
Basically, you have these hexagonal tiles, and they can be either forest, like plains, like farmlands, water, town, or I think that's it. But anyway, you're basically just matching these tiles together to make them fit. Like, if I have a forest piece on this side, you want to match it with a forest piece so you grow it. And as it goes on, you have these little like miniature quests. It's like, oh, this tile says 133, and it's a forest tile. So you need to match it with 133 other trees on the forest tiles.
Okay.
So you kind of build a whole village around that. I don't know. I liked it at first when I first got it, and then it released like fully this year. And it's just a great come home, play one round of it, see if I can beat my score. If I don't, I had a good time.
Yeah, I always notice that's the game you're playing when you're...
It's what I play when I don't know what to do.
Yes.
It's awesome.
It's either Chris is on Discord with the guys, or he's playing this game.
Hey, when they're playing Overwatch 2 and I don't care to watch that, that's
Oh
fine.
yeah, that came out. Ooh.
When Daniel and Jesus are playing Overwatch 2 and they want to talk, I'll be there, but I'm playing that. So I'm killing time. It's an awesome game. But that's really
Glad
it.
you're having fun with it.
Yakuza, Dorf Romantic, and Elden Ring are my tops of the year for sure.
Chris, I think that's tops. And speaking of tops, well, I don't know. I don't have a star recommendation, but I'm about to get into music picks as soon as I take a quick pee break.
Okay.
All right, well, it is time for music picks of, I guess, the year.
I guess so.
Because we have not
Even
done...
though I heard this song for the first time less than a week ago.
Do you feel upset about the whole thing where you reach out and you're like, we should do another remote podcast sometime, and nobody ever responds?
No, not really.
I'm just so preferential to, even if it's just once a year, it makes the difference.
Absolutely.
In person.
It makes it so much more special, too.
Yeah. So tell me. I haven't listened to a lot of music this year. What you got something? What do you got?
Yeah, I got a little something. Yeah. So I was, as I always do, I like to look through the, on Spotify, the listeners also listen to.
Oh,
page.
that's a good trick.
It's a great trick. And you see something that catches your eye, like an album cover
I
or
used to
something.
do that on Last FM.
You see some cool artwork, which I did.
Yeah.
I see a cool name of song. I play it.
Cool name of song.
Cool name of song.
Ooh.
And I found this Swedish band by the name of Holograms. And some of their songs are a little bit of like real like old school early 80s goth rock, like fast paced.
You're speaking my language.
Like a little bit of synth in there. This particular song has a little bit less of it, but I'll play you another one later on.
Please.
This is a song called...
I've never heard of this band. Are they new? Or did you just find them?
The album's from 2013.
Okay.
But yeah, it's Rush by Holograms. I'll play it now. And just to keep you hooked, you know my shtick. The thing that I really like is when songs kind of switched up in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm going to play this one for you.
Touched inside, a blast for the eye, a blast for the eye, let it rush. Feel the hate, obey the loss, let it rush.
Okay. I was struggling. I should have been enjoying the music, but I was struggling to place genre.
Yeah.
It's something I always do. The fucking drums in that fucking song were so lively and so fucking energetic that I almost fell out of my seat. But what was really interesting about the song, I didn't catch a lot of the lyrics.
Well, it's a Swedish band.
It's
important to
you know, obviously I'm not going to. But it was to be so lively and energetic, it was very somber. And that's something I really find pleasing, the juxtaposition of just energy, and it's not grim, but it's sobering. Mm-hmm. The vibe of the chord progression, not to mention that it goes from the very unusual verse, pre-bridge, bridge chorus.
Yeah.
Not a lot of bands do that, and it had a nice breakdown, and then it reprised right back to the fucking action-packed chorus. And also, it featured a sine wave keyboard,
Okay.
which kind of accented the chorus, and they brought back throughout the back half of the song in a way that just, God,
Every time it shows up, you kind of forgot that it was there.
yes, and this is furthering, you introduced me to Shame, who I listened to Drunk Tank Pink all the way through. Loved it. It's got a similar vocal style. It's sort of the shouted, love that, like that.
Yeah.
What would you call the genre? Also, great pick. I just got like a high off of that. Like I was sitting here like in a trance, like trying to drum along to this shit, dude.
I want to say it's like
I was thinking post rock, but it could be.
post new wave almost.
I'm looking
I
it
don't
up.
know.
I'm looking it up. I have to know. I want it on file.
Post goth.
Yes, that's what I mean with the somber tone of it. Hologram band genre. Ginger, as I typed it. They say alternative indie. I say it's more post-rock, for sure. That is something I need to, like, pump me up when I get up instead of Fox News. Because that just brings me down.
Oh,
That was a good-ass pick.
Thank you. I was happy with that one.
Also, bonus points for European.
Oh.
I always like a good indie European band, which I have too. Shocking.
Sick album covers they have also.
It was. Well, the one I saw was
There's another one
scary.
that I prefer over that one, but
It was very baroque in kind of a twisted way. Great pick.
thank you.
What's really funny you did that, Chris. Because I've got A, European band.
Oh.
B, frenetic, awesome drums. But it's an old song.
Okay.
That was an older song too. This is a really old song. This was big when I was like the age I met you, like 15 or 16.
16.
It wasn't big. It was like came on MTV for 3 days, you know? So a lot of people...
So I probably know it.
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of people will recognize it because it was probably used in like a commercial here and there. You might just know it right off.
Okay.
This is a song called... This band didn't get the credit that they deserved. The Walkmen, The Rat.
Oh man, Jay, you know how to pick 'em.
It was a popular song.
I never heard it. That's the funny thing. You said that it played on MTV for a few days? Or
If
something?
you listen to like alt rock radio, this was all over for like a good 6 months. Back in like
09?
I don't know. It was playing when I was like 16 or 17.
I don't remember it at all. But man, obviously we're both a fan of the frantic drumming.
Dude, I'm so happy this turned out like it did.
The thing that most sticks out to me, I said it when we were listening to it, but the band is going at their own pace, and the singer just feels that
He's soaring.
He is going above it.
Like,
He's
it's
placing-
all these tiny little notes
Yeah.
and frenetic energy, and he's just gliding
At his own pace.
right above it.
At his own pace,
Yeah.
too. I love that. It's like a little spice on top of what we already
Yeah,
have.
and
It's awesome.
like, it's not a particularly complicated song
No.
outside of the performance of the drummer,
All right. Yeah.
but like, the hook is repeated over and over and over again,
every time.
but they know how to use it so well, and every time it comes back, it's just like, fuck.
It's one of those hooks that you can't help but just kind of like clench your fist. Go,
Yes!
Like, you know. Ooh, man, that was good. Very
Yeah.
good.
So, I mean, how do I close it out?
Solid picks, man. That was
For both of us, come on.
happy.
Anytime there's I knew going into this, your appreciation of the drums is something special. And, like, that's what always pleased me. Speaking of 2022 albums, BT Bam. That was the one thing that drove you with a lot of their music. The drumming was so
Yeah.
crazy and frenetic. And so that's what gave me a clue. Good. Sorry, we can't do that this late. How do we round this out, Chris?
My eyes just did a rack focus from your face to the Xbox hat.
It came back! It's back! You called me out. You said I never wore it, so I had to wear it today.
Did you wear it today?
I wore it when we were watching 1889.
That was not wearing it. You're in an apartment.
You didn't even notice.
I snubbed my nose at your attempt to wear that. You wear it in the apartment. You didn't go out. You didn't expose.
This is like a couple's quarrel.
Well, I'm sick of it.
Ah!